Hi, folks. Welcome to Coffee with John. We have taken a break because we finished First John, and we are now on to Second John, and this is actually our number 92. I'm not going to start a new series because each letter, I'm convinced that both Second John and Third John are written by John, and so we're continuing just Coffee with John. By the way, thank you so much to those of you who got in touch and just say how much you appreciate it. I'm not looking for kudos. For anyone who teaches God's word, the greatest reward you get is just simply that other people come to love that word and appreciate the word. And this letter is a fascinating letter. We have a thing in the church just going to be this afternoon when I'm finished here, called Bible Unplugged. It's for teenagers, and what we do is at the end of every study that we do, we kind of spin the wheel and we get another book, and the teenagers go away and they have to read it. Now, we started off First Timothy. Who knows when we spin the wheel this time? If it's Psalms, that's going to be difficult, to read it all in 2 weeks for some. If it's Second John, it's one of the shortest books in the whole Bible, just one chapter. Now, what can we say about it? It is a normal letter. Second John and Third John are the style of letter we would expect in the first century. It was almost certainly written on one sheet of papyrus. It is very, very short. There are arguments about who it was written by because it says from the elder, if you see that at the beginning. Let me just read this actually. The verse we're looking at today, 2 John 1, the elder to the lady chosen by God and to her children, whom I love in the truth, and not I only, but also all who know the truth. So who is the elder? Would John not describe himself as an apostle? Well, Peter described himself as an elder. I think there's no doubt that if you look at the style and everything else, and the early church thought this was by John, there's not really much doubt. I'm not going to say there's no doubt, but there's not really much doubt that this really was by John. And probably at a time when he is the only one left of the apostles. All dead, all gone, except John. In Revelation, we read that he was in exile on the island of Patmos. We don't know exactly when it was written. But we know the purpose of it because he's writing in a situation which is very similar to the situation that many of us find ourselves in today. That is, the church was growing. There were lots of smaller churches and house churches. There was increasing opposition and persecution. And one of the worst things was the amount of false teaching and heresy that was creeping into the church. So John is really, as in First John, showing how we stay away from sin, how we remain faithful to the Lord. And here he talks a great deal about the truth and walking in the truth and remaining faithful to the truth. Who's it to? To the lady chosen by God and to her children, whom I love in the truth. Now, some people think that in the early church, some people thought it was a woman called Kyria, somebody else, Electra, that it was an actual woman and her family. But most people think, and I think this is probably the most likely, that the lady here is the way of speaking of the bride of Christ, that it's about the church. John talks, if it was just one family whom he loves in the truth and also all who know the truth, that's quite hard to say just about one family. But I think here he's talking about the church, and the church is the bride of Christ. And there's an important lesson for us in all of that as well, to love God's church. I know that there are people who, they love their particular church because they love the building, they love the traditions, they love the style, they love the ethos. Maybe they love the pastor, maybe they love the people who've been around forever and so on. That's not what is meant by loving the church. Loving the church is loving Christ's church. The church is his bride. And we don't just get to select the people that we like or the people who we should love. It's the people whom God has chosen. And I do think that we need to pray that we would have a much more deeper and more genuine love for the church. And not, all the frustrations and other things that happen as well. Right, my time is gone. We've started 2nd John. Hopefully, this is Tuesday, and we will do it Tuesday, God willing, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's the pattern from now on, as I kind of take Mondays off. So, and Sunday we do the Sunday Catechism. So, God bless you. See you tomorrow on Wednesday. Bye.